So hi everybody, I'm Karen and tonight we're discussing internet safety. It was Safer Internet Day the other day, and I just think that it's something we should all be addressing all the time, not just once a year. And as a teacher, I feel it's something that we should be mentioning to our children every single time that we take them onto the internet. So no matter what we're doing with them related to the internet, we should be giving them an internet safety tip. So let's explore some of these ideas tonight. We're going to look at ideas for parents, for teachers, as well as for learners. And I have a fantastic guest who's going to be sharing this discussion with me. It's Candice Erasmus, and Candice works at DigiCloud. Let's welcome her in. Hi, Candice.
Hi, Karen.
I'm so excited to be chatting with you tonight. Do you want to tell us a little bit about DigiCloud?
Oh, that would be amazing. So it's so great to be in. Thank you so much, Karen, for having me on the show. So just a little bit about DigiCloud Africa. We are Google's chosen enablement partner in Africa. So we look after all the Google partners in Africa. And I have the amazing job of looking after all the Google for Education partners. So I really have a great job, and DigiCloud is phenomenal. You must see it is literally getting to work with 95 Google partners across Africa. It's phenomenal.
That is so exciting. And I'm so excited to hear how it's growing. What we're talking about tonight is internet safety. Why is internet safety important for you?
I am a 40-year-old, and I grew up when I still did I did what do you call typing in 1997. I did typing. And then I think I was on MySpace. For those of you who are so young, you don't even know what MySpace is. It was before Facebook and all of that. So I've really gone from old school into new school, Facebook, Instagram, and I've got a 7-year-old daughter. So why is this important to me? Oh, and my husband's a teacher. He's a deputy at Grey College in Bloem. And I think for me, I just realized that this is a topic that is so real, no matter who you are. Even if you're a granny, your children are encountering things that, like blow your mind. Like you type one word on the internet and it can cause like upheaval and a scary show. Nightmares are made of. But you know what I mean? It's almost like this life really does, like in Gladiator, echoes in eternity. It really does now. Like the internet is scary. It captures everything digitally. And then if you think of children, like us as adults are bad enough on Facebook and on Twitter. Now you give a child this open platform. It's actually quite crazy. We need to help kids, educators, teachers, even us adults. I'm so scared I get scammed myself, to be honest.
So if you think from my point of view, I think the internet is like a playground. So before we had the internet, or when we took the children to a playground, we would say to them, don't speak to strangers. Don't take food or sweets from strangers. Don't get into somebody else's car that you don't know. And those are the same kind of tips that we should be observing when we are on the internet. You don't talk to strangers, so you don't tell them your name. You don't tell them where you live. So we should do the same on the internet. And those are the fun kinds of conversations we can be having with children, and not making it scary, but saying, how do I become responsible?
That's it. It's like kids have been given the keys to something amazing, but you've got to tell them it's like actually getting them a car, and no one's given them a manual, taught them how to drive the car, like gone for a driving lesson, And to be honest, I even look at adults in the world. A lot of them don't even understand how to actually use social media either, So I love the way that you say that it's like manners, You greet someone, but you actually don't have to if you don't know them. So there we go.
So you spoke about it from a Google point of view, and we thought that we'd start with families and parents. Is there something from Google that could be useful?
Oh, definitely. And I see you've popped it up on the screen. So this is a really great resource, and it's called Google's Family Link. So I'm actually going to show you what it looks like because the screen looks kind of bland. Let me just pull it down here. So you'll actually see when it opens up, it's a free application, an app that teachers can teachers. Teachers can as well, but for parents that they can use to help monitor their child's screen time and all of that. It's really great. I know that, Karen, you were actually the one who highlighted to me as well. I'm curious to know, did you use it with your children?
No, my children are too big. But for me, Family Link is really exciting in that we talk about monitoring our children, and with Family Link, you can monitor your children's usage on your phone. So you link them to your phone, and you can then even set times of when they need to sleep. So you can say, okay, you can't hop onto the internet during this time and this time. You can give them parameters in terms of what they can view. So you as the parent can then control it. I do have another view as well, though. I also think that we shouldn't just do these things to our children and use it as a threat. I really think it's important to have the discussions around why we're actually doing this and why we're putting that on. I'll give my context. So no, I didn't have a Family Link when my children were little, but there were things like Mix It and those kinds of things when my children were little.
Oh, Mix It.
So I learned how to do Mix It. And I was their friend on Mix It, so I could see what was happening. And then when Facebook came along and the children wanted to go into Facebook, I learned about Facebook, and so that we could see. And I think as parents, we mustn't be complacent. We've actually got to be proactive. So if our children are wanting to play Minecraft or whatever it is, we need to be doing it too and understanding how does the collaboration work? How are we having these discussions? And I suppose that's why I am where I am today, because I started playing in tech and I just carried on playing in tech.
Oh, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. And the thing for me is when I look at something like Family Link as well, and I like how you say it, Karen, is the fact that as a parent, I think it's very important that you let technology work for you, and you literally go on an exploration journey with your children. So I don't know, like, don't let the whole excuse of going, I don't know how to do it. Your kids don't know how to do it either. They just start doing it and you learn with them, and get your kids to teach you. I look at some of the games my daughter plays, and then I say to her, how do you do that? And she has fun showing me. And actually I'm checking what the game entails and everything. Exactly. So there's cool, and it's another conversation you can have with your kid. It's another conversation.
I hope as a parent you've hopped into the settings and you've switched off in-app purchases and you've put a parent login if it likes, all those kinds of things as well.
100%. And that's the best thing. Hannah has a iPad. And the first thing, and I mean to every parent on the call, like I'm a little bit OCD with that, is even with the browser that's on the iPad, all of that, I've locked down settings and all of that, settings on the iPad. She can't download anything. I have to put my fingerprints on, so she has to get my permission. So there's so many things you can do depending on what device you have.
That's so very true. So an app like Family Link, if you've never used that before, go in and explore it. You touched on going into and surfing and searching. Is there something you want to share around that?
Oh, definitely. So let's just go to I want to see how I'm going back to that one. Let's just go on to the next slide for me. You'll see here it's called Safe Search. So this is super amazing. So, Google is the king of search. Okay. Well, not that it's a male. It could be a queen of search. We don't know if Google is male or female. But Safe Search is really amazing. It helps block. So if you think of the browser that you have, and the Google browser, you are able to block explicit content. There's you can have really strict settings. And I love this about Google. And I'm actually just going to click on it because you can actually see and explore it. We'll definitely share all of these with you. So it's just think of search. When you, I want to read this because you see a safe browsing message in search results when safe browsing has found that the site they're about to visit might be dangerous. So simple things like that, and also just blocking content that kids shouldn't see. Super good. And I do trust Google. Obviously, there's certain things it will not always catch, but obviously it catches majority of stuff. And what are your thoughts?
So you switch safe browsing on. So
Yes.
it isn't automatically there. You choose. So on your devices at home, you can select when you go into Chrome or go into Google, you can select the safe browsing options. So if you've got little children and you don't want them to hop into things which might be violent or of a sexual nature or something along those lines, that's what safe browsing actually does. It makes it safe. So there we go. So it puts in the filters for you. So for me, it's really important that we begin to use the tools that are available to us. I think sometimes we don't go into settings enough and we don't actually see how the things are working and how it could be useful. To the people in the chat, the people in the call, if you've got a question, please drop it in the chat. Sorry, Candice, you were going to say?
No, 100%. Settings are vital to check. And I mean, this one it's beautiful. So you turn, so keep in mind, safe search, turn it on. And and there's an instruction thing here that I know it won't necessarily pull through, but I'm just going to pop this on the comments in StreamYard for now. I don't think I can actually pop it in yet.
No, you can. Yeah, up at the top, comments.
Awesome. There we go. Or for some reason, it's only letting me go to the private chat, Karen, so you might have to just copy it across for me.
I'll grab it. Great. So do you want to talk about the comments?
No, so I don't see any other comments in there, Karen.
No, I'm saying the comment you've just popped in here, the support that you're sharing with everybody.
Oh, sorry. So that support that I've just popped in there, really helpful. It's just a guide for you on how you can use Safe Search. And it's an actual Google search help page. So please do share this, I would, with all of your friends and family, because I actually think it's vital that you have it on everything. So just go through and it'll tell you how it works and what you can do.
Awesome. And just notice when Candice has scrolled down, but if you look, you'll see that it's for computers. If you scroll back up, it will show you there 3 different settings. There we go. So you've got computers or Android or iPhone and iPad. So there are little bits of differences between the 3, and there are instructions for each of those to make the devices safe when you're hopping into a Google search. Great. Awesome. Can we go back to the beginning of the search when you went to Safe Search? Because you'll see that there are a range of different searches. So if you just go back to the Safe Browsing tab.
And you're wanting to go there.
Yes. So look, you've got for Chrome or other browsers, you've got, if you're looking at ads, there's even in terms of safety related to apps. So you've got mail, that you can look at as well. So explore this website and just have a look at safe browsing and think about how you can make your own family safe within that space.
It's brilliant. So we highly encourage you guys all to do that. Awesome.
So Candice, from your point of view as a mommy, you've mentioned a few things that you do, but if you think about safe searching, what kind of tips would you give to parents around creating an awareness around safety for their children?
Okay, creating an awareness for safety for the children. I think for me, when it comes to creating awareness and this is where I think it leads into the next section that we've got, Karen, and I know it sounds weird because for me, I finally found the perfect thing for me to help give my daughter the awareness that she needs. And there's this amazing curriculum that Google provides. And I promise you, for me, I just was blown away at how much it simplified a conversation that I can have with my daughter. So the way that I would do that is talk to her. So I'm actually going to go over to something, Karen. I'm just going to quickly go to that deck. And I think this is where I think it's so important for us to be able to have, I know it sounds weird, you need a language that you can use to repeat over and over again with your child. And this is what I love about it. It's called Be Internet Awesome Curriculum. And there's even a family guide as well that's linked to it. But these are the words that I'm definitely in the language I'm going to use with Hannah. I want to teach her, you need to be smart when it comes to the internet. I want you to always be alert, because let's be honest, what happens with kids or with us, even as adults, You're sitting and scrolling on your phone and you're not even registering what you're doing. And then you click on something that you shouldn't click on, all of that sort of thing. So, and being strong, kind, brave when it comes to whatever happens and you see on the internet. So this curriculum that Google has provided is phenomenal. There's a ton of things like, okay, this is just some of the printable activities, that you can do. But if you look at these sorts of phrases, and this is, I'm not even kidding, how I'm going to be dealing with my daughter. Phrases like be internet smart, share with care. Like all of these are phrases.
So I want to just pick up on that one, share with care. Years ago, there was a poster that I loved from Common Sense. And it was, if you've taken a photo, is it a good photo? Yes or no? The next question you ask yourself, the next question you ask yourself is, the person in the photo, will they be happy that you shared it? The next question goes, a year from now, will you be happy that you shared it? And then going on to, if you've shared this picture, will it cause any harm? Will it make somebody sad? And so for me, I think that's really important. Sharing with care is something which we really need to do. If you just take WhatsApp and you see the things that people share, snippets where people look as if they're really getting hurt. And yet we share it as a joke. We share it as, oh no, that's funny. But if we look at it, if that happened in front of us, wouldn't we go, oh, has that person got hurt? Shouldn't we try and help them?
Yeah,
so
100%.
How are we sharing with care? When somebody does something that's embarrassing, we share that to have a laugh. But is that person comfortable with that being shared?
100%.
And so I think we need to think very carefully about that. And as teachers, we need to think very carefully about that. What WhatsApp groups are we on? What's being shared on those groups? What are we allowing our children to share on the high school WhatsApp groups? How are we encouraging the sharing with caring? Because if we do that, we'll slowly reduce the bullying.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So I think for me, and I'm just going to put this up, it's the main page for, Google refers to it as Be Internet Legends. And I think for me, Karen, what you're saying to me is vital, because before, when I was thinking of internet safety, it's like this big thing. It's like, think of passwords, and then it's cyberbullying and all of these, there's so much to think about as a parent. And I was going, Google has done it in such an awesome way that it's literally these, I think it's the 5 things there, Karen. Think before you share. Check, it's Be Internet Alert. Check, it's for real.
Let's do each one slowly. So if you think about check, it's for real. I mean, we talk about fake news. We talk about children putting inappropriate content in an assignment because they didn't look for the proper resources. They didn't analyze their information. So from a teaching point of view, we're teaching children to become critical and analytical about the websites that they're using for school projects. It can be as simple as that. Is the information correct? So saying to children, is it real, from a range of different points of view?
Yeah. Now, interestingly, Karen, when I was busy doing a lot of reading on this, if you think of okay, and now quickly, it's a bit of a long example, but just hear where I'm going with this, okay? So the one time Google had their biggest attack ever, okay? So Google was brought to its knees. I think it was in 2009, and the attack, the hacker or whoever committed the hack was called Aurora, okay? Or that's what they named it. And you know what was interesting for me is that attack originated with one little email message where it said, hey, is this you? And it had a little link as if it was a photo of the person. And the employee clicked on that link. And I've noticed that if you take internet safety and security, how does anyone get to our children? How does anyone get to someone sitting at home, like a little granny who clicks on a link and it gets to internet banking stuff? They get someone just to click on a link. And what's fascinating for me is check, it's for real, is so important for us to teach our children what fake news is, because how do these actors who are trying to lure our children into clicking on something. They're using fake news for children. What's going to attract them? So teaching them, how do you spot fake news? How do you discern it? Because what they're actually doing is they're just trying to get you to click on a link. Exactly. If you think about it, the fake news is a lure to attract them. And that's why I think this one is actually much bigger than we realize. Check it's fake, because don't just click on it. Look at I love how someone said to me, they're like, Candice, if you're reading something and you actually have to take all your emotions down when you're when you're doing anything on the internet, and calmly read it and go, it can't be too good. What too good to be true? You need to don't quickly click on it. First read the entire page, check it out. And I think that's where we just need to get kids to be slower, check the URL. You know what I mean? You've got to just be slow and steady when you're on the internet, not click, 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 click.
Exactly.
If that makes sense.
Yes. And I mean, if you look at the bullet points they've got there, the second one, things getting too personal. If somebody's asking you for stuff that you don't feel comfortable about, don't answer it. Ignore it. Delete it.
100%. And actually, you started it off with the best advice ever. And I don't even think adults get it. Don't talk to strangers on the internet. It's not a good thing. And it's so true, because it's not going to get you anywhere good. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, I still think that's the best form of advice ever. But I mean, and the other thing here is protect your stuff. I love that. I think that when I speak to my child, it's so easy to say, you've got to learn to protect your stuff. How do you protect your stuff? And if you think, what's the one key? Karen, are you going to give somebody the front door key to your house? If you've never met them before, are you going to go, hey, here's my front door key. You can go anywhere in my house. It's okay. I'm sure I can just trust you. No, a password is a front door key to your house. And so that's why for me, it's like going, you make sure you keep your key safe. You make sure you store it somewhere. It's not, you know what I mean? It's not something you just leave laying around. So that's why passwords, oh my word. Yeah.
And passwords are true. Most, as you said, it was a link that somebody clicked on. So they had their email address. So somewhere they'd put their email that people could get it. That's the first thing. Then the second thing is that your password is the weakest link to almost any organization. And so don't share them. Don't tell your best friend. As a child, the only person who should know your password is you and an adult you trust, your mum or your dad or somebody like that. So if you do forget it, you've got somebody who can help you. But other than that, keep it yourself.
100%. And there is something, obviously, because I'm a little bit Google biased, but something that I'm absolutely loving about the Chrome browser. So now what's nice is if, you know how people use their Google account or their Facebook to log into various different apps. So you log in. So I create some random account. Let's say it's a Take Lot account, and they say, use your Facebook to log in with that. And I just want to ask everyone to be a little bit careful of that, because what happens is you then use Facebook to log in everywhere, and someone gets your Facebook password. They then get access to all of your stuff. So what I love about Chrome, and now I love Chrome because there's something called the password manager. And what's nice is Chrome will even prompt you with a little password. It's so awesome. It's like it suggests a strong password. I use that password. So each website I go to has its own unique password that I get Chrome to remember for me. So if someone gets into an account, they only get into one account, not into my Facebook, which is a gateway to all the accounts if I use Facebook as my login. So I really do encourage you, if you use the Chrome browser, you use the password manager, and always use their suggested passwords. They create these long, deep encrypted ones that I'm pretty sure, if anyone can hack that, then I don't know. It's so long. They're like super long. So that's just something I would highly recommend. And I think I'm just going to put something in here. And this is especially for anyone who's in IT and now I've got to find it, because here we go. This is, it sounds like a very dodgy site, but just go with me. It's called, Karen, I'm posting in the private chat, and then you can put it across.
Yeah.
What I'd like you to do is, if you've used your Gmail and you've taken that and you've gone to go see, you want to see where else it's been used. So let's actually have a look quickly. I'm going to paste it here. So let's show you something scary. Okay, it's called Have I Been Pawned? Okay. So what happens is it's going to check if your email or phone is in a data breach. So if I really don't want to show everyone my personal Gmail account.
No, but just stop there. That's good enough.
Okay, so put it here, and then all you'll see here is it'll tell you how many sites your email address was leaked because you used it to sign in on multiple accounts. That's why having unique passwords for each account is good to do. Okay, so that's a really good one to check.
That is a great one. Yes.
Awesome.
So we're going back to our internet safety tip number 3.
Aha. So are we here? Are you wanting to go here? Respect each other.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So, and this is something I'm going to prompt you on, Karen, because I did not know this. So cyberbullying, okay, respecting each other. I did not realize how much South African law is actually can protect you as someone that's been bullied. So you were talking to me a little bit about it earlier. Could you tell me a little bit what people can do if they've been bullied on cyber?
So if you've been bullied online, the tips are don't delete your stuff. I know that sounds horrible, but take screenshots of it, because that then becomes evidence. And that evidence you could use at school to show to the school what's happened, or you could actually use it to take to a police station to open a case. If it's cyberbullying, the other thing is, I really think we've got to build the young people up, or the person that's up that's being bullied. So looking at self-affirmations and self-growth. But the other thing is that there is the Film and Publications Board website. So if you go into the Film and Publications Board website, there's a whole lot of information about cyberbullying and how you can report it. And there's even a portal there where you can report it straight to the Film and Publications Board, even as an individual. You can report sites, you can report conversations, and there's a whole section on cyberbullying and children and protecting children. So it's a really great website. Look at the Film and Publications Board website.
Yeah, and I mean, it sounds crazy, but I think people don't even. I wasn't even aware that her name was it the Keely Houghton. I didn't even know that she was an 18-year-old, and this is long ago. That was like 2014, wasn't it?
I really can't remember.
Okay, but she was jailed she was put into prison for those death threats. She was literally cyberbullying a girl for 4 years. I don't know if you know that story from the UK.
No, I don't.
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, the cases in South Africa of sexting, and the same in the States. So sexting is when you take a photograph of a private part of your body or something explicit and then share it. The minute you start doing that, you go into the space of porn. And so that then becomes another whole issue. And those people can also then, even if you've sent it to a girlfriend or a boyfriend, if that person shares it, you as the person who first created it can still be in trouble, but the people who've shared it can also be in trouble. And there have been court cases around those where the person who shared it raised the court case, but the person who originally took it, even though they shared it in trust, they themselves also got into trouble. So we need to be really aware around respecting ourselves and respecting others. How do we respect ourselves? You know, you wouldn't walk around without clothes on at school. So why would you send a photo? So we need to think about those kinds of things in terms of who we're communicating with, why we're doing it, and being responsible.
Yeah, 100%. And so, yeah, but again, notice how this is something, it's for me as a parent, even as an educator, like I'm so sorry.
No worries.
this is where you build the conversation. To me, internet safety is actually about having a conversation. And that's
Yes.
something that I've realized is that why this is so key is it builds the conversation. And
Yeah.
that leads into this one. When in
Yes.
doubt, discuss. And that for me is what internet safety is. And I'm going to be honest with you. And I thought I have to share this because you got to get real. You know what I mean? You got to get real. Otherwise, this isn't going to change anyone's life. So even for me, like I don't click on things. I check the links, whatever. And one day I was like, cool. I quickly picked up my phone and there's a parcel. I got an SMS. And I'm like, there's a parcel that's waiting for you to be collected. And it was my birthday the next day. And I'm like, someone must have sent me something. And so I'm like, I look at the link and I'm in my head, I'm like, oh, that's a funny link. Red flag number 1. When in doubt, discuss it. Hey, Joel, I should have said to my husband, this, I'm not sure. Like, I'm in doubt. Like, you know what I mean? It's stupid. But like, I had all these red flags going off. Then I clicked on it. I started putting in my details. And I'm like, oh, why is it not clicking? Guys, there are red flags. When in doubt, discuss it. Thankfully, I only lost 750 Rand.
Oh.
But what I'm saying to you is that for me, I'm always so strict. And the one time when in doubt, and I find that anything on the internet, there's always these little red flags. That's why you must always be alert. And when in doubt, discuss. I mean, my one's stupid, an SMS with this, but I'm
But
like,
that happens to so many people. So it's not stupid. And I think the point you're making is very valid, that we should be discussing these things.
Yeah, 100%. And not being scared to share it with others because, like you said, it's happening to everyone.
Yeah.
And even for me, like I've said to so many people, why would you do that? Why would you click on it? Look what I did. I clicked on the link. So it's so important that we talk about it because we're reminding everyone, don't click on the stuff. Read the link. If it looks like this weird thing, like we've got to help each other. If we're not talking about it,
Yeah.
people are going to keep falling for it. And these people who are trying to trick us are trying all kinds of things. And hence why I think with children, the most we have to be repetitive and discuss. And I think that's why these are great conversations, even for parents. So this is going to be my go-to. I'm just saying, the older she gets, I'm going to be like, here's my 5 pointers. Let's go. Let's talk.
Yeah, and as a teacher, there are these wonderful resources that you can use within the space. But there's also this amazing game. So Internet Awesome is actually a game for children to play. And they hop from island to island as they play the game. And they actually learn about these different features. So playing the game is what the children do. As the parents and the teachers, they're the lessons and they're the tips and the things to have the discussions. But the children would play the game, which is really, really lovely.
It's amazing. And I want to see, where do I get into the game? Why am I now? Should be so obvious. Get in. I just want to go into the game. Get activities. I'm like, I just want to go into Interland. Interland? No. Okay.
You'll have to look later.
I'll look later.
So if we think about this in terms of looking after the kids and that the kids can play games and things like that, I think the last thing we wanted to share is that Google has an internet safety curriculum. So I was part of the team who put that together. And if you click on the link, you'll see that it's a PDF, and we'll pop that into the chat for you. But the PDF goes for internet safety lessons from grade 8 to grade 12. But they're also links that you could use with younger age groups. So if you look at the 5 topics, so if you just go slowly through this, then we don't need to go to all of them. You'll see grade 8, you're talking about being safe online. I can't see the bottom one and I can't remember. Grade 9 is, what is it? Being a respectful digital citizen. And then you got to go up again to go to grade 10. So grade, it's purple. Yeah, being smart online. And then going down to grade 11 and 12. I think grade 11 is being a responsible digital citizen and grade 12 is being future ready. So there's a range of resources. Each of them have got lesson ideas in them and a multitude of links, not just Google, all sorts of different links that you can go and explore, activities that you can get your children to play, games to play around, making a strong password, and all sorts of fun things. So this PDF is out there, and go and have a look at that and see how there could be lessons in there that could help you from a school kind of point of view. And then as we end off, I just want you to talk quickly about zero reported ransomware attacks from Chrome. Let's quickly talk about the safety of being a Google for Education school.
Okay, that is a massive one to end with. It's great. So something that we've noticed that's happening, okay, in Africa, because it's starting to come alive now, but it's actually the top selling device in the US they're called Chromebooks. So what we've noticed is that it's just kind of, in Africa, it's almost like, it's like growing and growing and growing. And the reason why is exactly what Karen said. There are, wait for this, guys, how many ransomware attacks? 0 on Chrome. Chrome OS, there is literally 0. And I think, Karen, shame, I think we're putting it on. Let's just put it there. There we go. 0 reported ransomware attacks on Chrome OS. So to me, it's just crazy to think that this is a device that it's literally taking education by storm, even the corporate world as well. And there's really kiff things we can tell you about it. And I know, actually, Karen, I think you should say it because you were explaining it so well to me, is the whole thing about the sandboxing of the tabs. Come, tell us, because I know you want to.
So I only use Chromebooks just as a matter of interest, and I have for years. And for me, the cool thing I learned is that a tab is like a sandbox. So if there's anything bad that goes in there, when you close it, it's gone and it protects your computer. And then just in terms of Google and its security, there are a range of different resources that Google has for your school community. So looking at how Google can actually help your school community. And that's what Candice and her partners do. They actually help in terms of how we do that in schools and how that can be beneficial to the learners. So I really think that we need to think about how we can actually be protecting the children when they're on devices and when they're off devices. Cyberbullying is a horrible thing. It follows our children around all the time. So we need to teach them how to be kind, how to be safe, how to approach and handle people who are not being kind to them. So Candice, as we end off, what kind of tip would you want to give to the community around internet safety?
Wow. Okay. What tip would I give? I think I'm like talking about so many now, but I think, to be honest, I think what I learned through doing all of my research is that I think for me, we forget that with internet, everything is so digital that we actually need to be having conversations about this. So my top tip with this is whatever you're encountering in your digital space, whether your digital world is predominantly Facebook or whatnot, if there are things that you're unsure of, even as an adult, as a student, as a learner, we have to have real conversations and talk about the red flags that you're experiencing in whatever digital product you live most of your day in. Because that's what I feel is not happening, is this conversation that Karen arranged. And I know this is a play on word, but that's the password. That's the password where we create safety. If we start talking and saying, I've noticed this on Facebook. Why is everyone so rude and harsh and this? And why is everyone just letting all this hate speak? You know what I mean? Whatever. It's, again, by talking to each other, and actually that's where the internet safety is going to come in. If this is part of the conversation and we actually make sure that we don't share our passwords randomly.
One of the young ladies that I chatted to on Tuesday evening had such a wonderful idea. She said, when you're upset with somebody, she was talking about school, but when you're upset with somebody, don't wait till you get home to fire off a whole lot of angry digital messages, whatever the platform is that you're using. Go and have a face-to-face discussion. And her suggestion was, what if schools had a space where children knew they could go to, where those two people or three people could go and have the discussion and sort the things out there. And I thought, what a wonderful idea. So how can we actually keep ourselves safe? How are we being kind to others as much as possible?
There is one actual top tip. It's called two-step verification. Two-step verification, everybody. Two-step verification. It's where on your Gmail, on your Facebook, on your bank, you have to get an OTP, one-time PIN. Do it on every single application that you're on. Two-step verification. I cannot say it enough. That's my top tip.
Thanks, everybody, for watching this evening. Candice, just thank you for your time and sharing your ideas and taking part in this and all the research you did and all the teachers you spoke to. I really appreciate it. Thank you for all the learnings that you shared. To those of you who joined, thank you so very much. I'm going to end the call. Good night.